Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Mary. It is time for another episode of Monday Morning Leadership Bites. Hey, it may look a little dark in the background here. It's because it's super early. But that doesn't stop me from doing my videos. It just meant I had to get up a tad bit earlier than normal to do this today. And so I need to tell you something because I want to relate something that happened to two people I know, and I do have their permission to talk about this. But I want to relate it to, it may seem like it's disconnected, but in my mind, it connected for me. And so that's what I want to share with you. And that's around problem solving and how we look at a situation and solve problems. As leaders, we're called to solve problems. And so the situation with two conversations I had with parents, and they're both leaders. One's a leader in their community and one's a leader within their company. And just in general conversations I had with them, recently over the last 30 days or so, both have kids that have ADD. And one parent, one mom in particular, she did not accept the original. It wasn't even a diagnosis, to be honest with you. It was something that was a guess amongst the teachers that said, "Hey, your child might have ADD," and they kind of ignored her and her husband ignored this for a while and figured that their kid will just kind of grow out of it. And the father was also very high energy, as they were called. And so they just kind of went along and didn't really do anything. And it wasn't until recently where they felt like, you know what, this is not working for us. Ignoring the issue isn't working for us. And a separate conversation of people, they don't really know each other. Another person where his son also dealt with ADD. And it was very interesting how he and his wife tackled the problem. Is they went and they got that official diagnosis. They decided not to go with medicine. Instead, they started doing some things. The whole family kind of shifted their lifestyle, if you will, on the types of food they were eating and TV and screen time. And just there was a whole shift that the whole family made. And that child has been flourishing. Actually, the whole family has been flourishing, making sure they get out and get exercise or go for hikes or things of that nature. But this was something they decided to do as a family, and they addressed the issue head on. And so they both sets of parents eventually got to the point where they solved the problem. But in the situation of the first set of parents, they kind of ran from what they referred to as a label. And they didn't want their kid to be labeled, and they didn't want to put them into the school system as having this label. And so I started thinking about the work life in our community, and we can sometimes be held in a due cycle with a label, where we're stuck on the label of a community or an organization or a person, that we forget that that person is more than the label. The organization is more than the label. The company, the group, the community, whatever it is, whatever that we're talking about, whatever you're a leader in, we can get stuck in defining ourselves by the label, both positively and negatively, that we forget that we have to tackle the problem and the issue. Whatever we're trying to do, whether we're trying to move up and get through a vision of ours, we can get stuck on that we're this thing, whatever that thing is, and we can't move beyond that. We can't break away because we're almost bound by this thing that defines us, and we can't break from that. And a lot of organizations that thrive have a tendency to break those norms and redefine themselves constantly. And some organizations are really, really great of, you kind of, you can't put them in one particular category. And sometimes organizations and people and communities can get themselves stuck because they're so stuck in the label that they have, both positive and negative, that they can't see beyond that. So as leaders, we need to solve problems. We need to look at what we're trying to accomplish. We need to identify them, break down into small steps, and try to determine what are we trying to do, what problem are we trying to solve. As leaders, we have to get away from the labels that maybe define us, and we need to shed those and instead identify on what work needs to get done. So that's my challenge for you this week, is what label do you need to shed? Is there a label that's been placed upon you? It could be a good label, like being an overachiever, or it could be a negative label, like being a perfectionist. What label do you need to shed? Identify it, and let's determine what you really want, and let's go solve the problem. Let's identify it, let's define what we want to do, and then let's go out and solve some problems. So there you go. That is this Monday's Monday Morning Leadership Bite. I thank you for watching. Remember, like, comment, share. Enjoy doing these talks with you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.